If Steve Jobs was running Apple today, the new $599 MacBook Neo wouldn't exist. In fact, he'd probably fire the engineer who suggested it. But Apple's other legendary co-founder Steve Wozniak, he'd probably call it the most important Mac the company has made in a decade. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the MacBook Neo. It is Apple's most fascinating laptop in years. To hit a price tag of just $599, Apple has made compromises that break every rule in Steve Jobs' playbook. But to understand why this laptop exists, we have to look at the two radically different philosophies that built Apple in the first place. Let's dive in. First, let's look at what the Neo actually is. At $599, it's the cheapest laptop Apple has ever made. And to pull this off, Apple didn't just strip away features, they fundamentally changed the Mac's DNA. Instead of an M series chip, it's powered by the A18 Pro, the exact same silicon inside your iPhone. It has a 13-inch liquid retina display, which is great, but then you look at the keyboard. No backlighting. At all. No Touch ID on the base model. The trackpad, it's a mechanical dive board style, not the Force Touch panel we've been used to for over a decade. And the biggest sin of all, one of the two USB-C ports is artificially throttled to USB 2 speeds. It's a laptop of contradictions, a powerhouse mobile chip strapped into a chassis of internal bottlenecks. And that brings us to Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was a purist. He famously killed off the idea of an Apple netbook in the late 2000s because he refused to join a race to the bottom of the price barrel. He believed Apple would make products for people who wanted the best and not the cheapest. If you handed Jobs the MacBook Neo, he wouldn't look at the $599 price tag, he'd look at the user experience. And the UX of the Neo has some intentional friction. Imagine Steve Jobs plugging the drive into a modern Mac only to find out the port is capped at 480 megabits per second just to save a few pennies on a controller chip. He hated arbitrary technological limits. To him, the hardware was supposed to disappear, letting the user just create. Furthermore, putting an iPhone chip into a Mac blurs the lines he fought hard to keep clean. The Mac was the truck, the iPod was the car, and the Neo is a weird hybrid. It sacrifices the purity of the Mac lineup for market share. He would have thought it an accountant's laptop, not a visionary's, and he would have hated the compromises. While Jobs wanted to build digital luxury, Steve Wozniak wanted to share the magic of computers with as many people as possible. Woz's masterpiece, the Apple II, was designed to be accessible. It was an educational tool. Wozniak has been openly critical of Apple when they lean too hard into the status symbol luxury market. He values utility, and the MacBook Neo is pure unadulterated utility. Think about it. For $599, a high school kid can buy a brand new fanless laptop that runs macOS natively. They don't have to fight the limitations of an iPad to learn how to code Xcode. They have the safety of the Apple ecosystem at the price of a mid-tier Chromebook. Woz wouldn't care that the trackpad is mechanical. He's an engineer. He knows that mechanical things work. He wouldn't care about the keyboard backlight because he's a touch typist. To Wozniak, a computer is a tool to empower people. By lowering the barrier to entry, the MacBook Neo puts a genuine Mac into the hands of millions who otherwise couldn't afford one. It's the ultimate democratization of Apple's technology. The MacBook Neo isn't perfect. It does have compromises, but maybe that's exactly what Apple needed to do. For the last 10 years, Apple has designed Macs strictly for the Steve Jobs worldview. Relentlessly premium, uncompromising, and expensive. The Neo is a Wozniak Mac. It's practical, and he brings the magic of Apple to the masses. So which Steve would be right? Is the Neo a dilution of the Apple brand, or the best value in tech today? I want to hear from you on this. Drop down into the comments. Are you Team Jobs or Team Woz on this one? If you like this one, hit the subscribe button and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.